Hello, conquering friends. Welcome to the Resin Rockers tutorial to show you how to do your very own vessel from scratch. So let's go ahead and open up our resin. You're going to take off the flat cap here and you'll see a foil seal in here. I'm just going to take my knife and I'm just going to turn it all the way around. And then we are going to take off that little foil seal. Just like that. And then we're going to apply our pointed tip cap, just like that. So that's all you need to do to get your resin ready. So let's go ahead and put some gloves on and get started. So it's a good idea if you've never worked with resin before, or if you are new to doing your DIY jewelry, to have a practice ring. These are cosmetic jewelry. They're just fun, little practice, a way for you to get the technique down before you start pouring into your conquering bezels. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my little practice ring. I'm gonna put this little clip right here. It just helps me to keep it hands-free when I am trying to put my resin in there. Next, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take my Resin Rockers original formula. I'm gonna unscrew the cap on top, and I'm just gonna put a little tiny bit of resin, really, really small amount, only about a pea size shape in that cup. Then I'm gonna take my Grinchy green glitter. We're gonna take this lid off here, and I'm just gonna dab a tiny bit. Now, if you have something really, really small that you can use, you can even use a fork if you want to. We have these tiny little plastic spoons, and I'm just gonna pick up a little bit of that glitter and I'm gonna add it right to my cup. You only need a tiny, tiny bit of glitter, not very much at all. Next, we're gonna take our silicone brush and we are going to stir that resin in. Now, the reason we only want a little bit of glitter is because with UV resin, it will cure with the light, but the light has to be able to get through that glitter. So you don't want to do it too much. You want it to be a still kind of liquidy consistency when you're working with it. We're just going to take our little practice ring and we're going to pick up this resin with our silicone brush and we're just going to tap it in. We're just going to tap it into the bezel and we're going to do that all the way around the bottom bezel. Now this is self-leveling. This resin is self-leveling, so you don't have to do a lot of coercing it around. You just want to make sure that you've added enough to coat the bottom of the bezel so that you coat the silver or the gold, depending on which bezels you have chosen for your little project here. So we're just gonna tap this around. Perfect. So you can see it's all level down in the bezel, which is perfect. So now what I'm gonna do, that I've got the resin filled on the bottom here, is I am going to cure this layer. So we're gonna cure this layer and then we're gonna add a peppermint to the middle. Once you have your resin in your bezel, so it looks like this, okay, it's all leveled out, looks really, really nice. One thing that I like to do, and most people have a lighter in their home, is just add a little bit of heat to it. So we're just gonna just swipe it across the top really quickly. And what that does is it will get rid of any surface bubbles. Anytime you're mixing glitter with resin, or really resin with anything else, you can create a little bit of bubbles, and so we just wanna get rid of those. So I went ahead and got rid of those so it looks nice and shiny. So now what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna set this down right here on my mat, and I'm gonna take my resin flashlight that came in your kit, and we're gonna turn it on, and we're just gonna go over this bezel back and forth slowly. And we're gonna do this for about 60 seconds or until it's rock solid. So we at least wanna give it 60 seconds. And if you want to, while you're curing this, you can also cure your cup, because we're gonna reuse that cup for the next one. So go ahead and cure your cup at the same time. All right, so now that that is cured, I'm gonna go ahead and cure the opposite side of this for just a couple seconds because then I can just peel that resin out and reuse my cup. So cure on both sides of the cup. The easiest way to remove your resin from your cup, if you don't have enough to just peel it all out, take a piece of tape and just press it into the cup like this, and it will take all of that extra glitter and resin and anything else you don't want in that cup. It'll just pull it right out so that it's ready to go for the next project. So now I'm just going to show you how to do the clay pieces if you choose you would like to put these in your piece. I always search for ones that are thinner. If I use resin underneath, if you're not putting resin, a base layer down, you can use the thicker ones and just put resin over top. But for this instance, since I wanted to do a little bit of glitter, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my little clay piece and I'm going to match it up, make sure it looks good, and it does. Now we're going to put a top coat on it with our original formula. So we're going to put down just a little bit, same as the base layer, about a pea-sized drop. We're going to take our silicone brush and we're just going to very gently maneuver it around. And keep in mind, this is the practice ring. So this is a great way for you to get your technique down before you do it in the actual bezel. So I'm going to get that down in there, and that looks really, really good. I'm going to take my lighter. I'm going to quickly swipe across it, make sure I don't see any bubbles. And then I usually will let my piece rest for maybe a couple minutes before I start applying light to it. That gives any other bubbles a chance to get to the surface so that you can get them with the lighter before you cure it. So let it rest, then take your lighter, swipe it across, and then you'll be ready to cure. This is the second to last coat. We really want it to be good. So we're just gonna start our flashlight. I've got it on and I'm doing it from far away. So we wanna do it from far away and let it begin to cure. And we're gonna do this for about 10 seconds and then we're gonna move the flashlight in. We're gonna move the flashlight in. And the reason is the slower the cure, the better the finish. So we want to have the best finish possible on this ring. So, and if you see a bubble that comes to the surface and leaves a mark or anything, don't worry. This is not your final coat, so you'll be fine. So after 60 seconds of this, we're going to apply our final coat. All right, so this is 60 seconds of cure, you guys. This looks so cute. I love it. All right, so let's go ahead. We're going to apply our final coat, and you don't need much, you guys. You do not need, maybe like a half of a pea, maybe. All right, so we're gonna add that on there, and we're gonna take our silicone brush, and I'm just gonna go all the way around in a circular motion, pulling the resin from the middle to the edges. And we're just gonna go all the way around, just like that. And then once you feel like it's touching all the way around, then we're gonna take our lighter and we're gonna do the exact same process. We're just gonna hit it with the lighter really quick, and then we're gonna let it rest. And then once it rests, we're gonna start our cure from far away, which is what I'm doing right now. So I'm starting it from far away, and then I will slowly move in. All right, you guys, and this is the end result. Look how cute. Look at that glossy finish. It looks spectacular. I love this. So this is our practice one. So now once you feel comfortable, then you can go on to your conquering bezel and recreate the same thing. So on the next one that we're going to do, we are going to do it in the actual bezel. I'm gonna pretend like I practiced in a practiced ring. I'm gonna switch it up and do something a little bit different so you guys can see a couple different ways to use your product. But what I'm gonna do is take a bezel and I'm gonna put it down on the mat, and the mat has like a sticky silicone here, so it'll really help you not have to worry about the bezel like shifting around. If you do it on a solid surface that's slippery, it's just gonna shift around and drive you crazy. So let's go ahead. We're gonna do a chunky glitter, and I'm gonna show you how to do the Shattered Dreams peppermint bark. So I'm gonna add a little bit of resin to my cup. I'm gonna open up my glitter here, and I am going to use just a very small amount. we only want enough to coat the bottom of the bezel. You don't want to put too much in because the light has to be able to get to the resin in order to cure it. So we're only going to use a little tiny bit. So I'm just going to use my tweezers here. I'm going to pick up a little bit and I'm going to add it to my little cup here. And then we are going to stir this up with our silicone brush. Just like this. And you simply just want enough to coat that glitter. Just like that. Then we're going to add these right to the base of our bezel. Like this. And if you notice there's a piece you don't like how it's turning out, just put it back. Just put a different piece back because they're all different shapes. This is an irregular shaped glitter. So you're kind of going to get a little variety, kind of like peppermint bark. That's why it's called peppermint bark. It really mimics that look, that shattered look. If you want to add more glitter, you can just stick your silicone brush in there, add a little bit more. I like to work a little at a time. Just use what you think you might need. You can always add more. All right, so now that we have our glitter in there, I'm gonna take my lighter now, because that created quite a few bubbles, and I'm just gonna run my lighter across. I'm gonna show you what it looks like up close so you guys can see. So it's very, very pretty. It's almost like a shattered ornament is what it looks like. So now I'm going to let this rest for a couple minutes because of the bubbles. I want them to get to the top. Once they get to the top, again, you're gonna run your lighter across it to get rid of them, and then we're going to cure it together. All right, so this is rested for a couple minutes. Now I'm gonna take my flashlight, and since this is not one of the final coats, you can just go right down on top of it, just go in a circular motion, and go ahead and do this for about 60 seconds to give this a nice solid cure. All right, so if you want to add something like this, like one of your glitter shapes to it, put it down into the middle of your bezel, and you can see I just put a tiny bit of resin right on top just to hold it down. That's all you want to do. Just put a little bit of resin there to hold it down, and then use your flashlight to cure for 60 seconds. And now we're going to add our top coat. So I am going to put my bottle on here, and we're gonna do a pea-sized shape because this probably won't be our final coat. It may be, but we'll have to see. So I'm gonna put a little pea-sized shape of resin right on top here, and we're gonna kind of pat down around the tree a little bit just to make sure there aren't any air bubbles hiding behind the glitter, because they love to do that. But in doing so, it will also put a little bit of resin behind the glitter shape, which will push it up a little bit and give you some 3D effect. So that's kind of fun to see. So now I'm gonna take my lighter, I'm gonna run it across here. We're gonna do the exact same thing, let it rest for 2 to 3 minutes, hit it with the lighter one more time, and cure it for 60 seconds. All right, so let's hit it with that lighter one more time. And now I'm going to take my flashlight, and we are going to cure this for 60 seconds. And you can move in closer as the 60 seconds starts to come closer to an end. But we are just gonna do 60 seconds from far away and then slowly move in once it cures. Now, if I had to guess, you'll do one more top coat. So don't add too much resin on that last coat that you just did, because you want your top coat to be the very, very thin, very nice glossy finish. So let this cure for 60 seconds and then we'll finish it off. All right, let's go ahead and add one more final coat to this lovely little peppermint bark tree. And you're gonna do a half a pea this time, just like we did on the plastic ring or the practice ring. And you're just gonna move your silicone brush in a circular motion very, very gently all the way around. and you're just gonna slowly pull it all the way out to the edge of that bezel. You want it to be level with the bezel edge. So just keep tapping it. Try to stay away from these two spinner edges because then your ring won't spin if you get resin on those. So you want to make sure that you don't get any resin on those. And once you feel like it looks good, check it from this side. I always check everything from the side to make sure it's level, make sure I didn't miss anywhere. And then we're gonna take our lighter, we're going to go across it one more time, and now we're gonna let this sit. If this is the final coat, we're gonna let this sit for 5 or 6 minutes. Then we're gonna follow the same curing pattern. Very, very far away, and slowly move it in. And we're gonna do that for 60 seconds. All right, you guys, let's check out our finished bezel. And look how cute it is. This is what it looks like as a finished project. So, so cute. Don't judge me, I only have gold on today, but we're gonna take that out and we are going to pop in our new one. Now, I like to let my bezels rest for like an hour or more after I cure them, just to be sure that I'm not gonna leave any fingerprints on them. Okay, and there's my ring. Look how cute it is. It's adorable. So, just remember, you guys, if you have any questions while you're making your bezels, you can always reach out to us. We are more than happy to answer any questions for you, and make sure you check out our tutorial videos. We have tons of them, and happy crafting.